Alright dudes, I want to get back into the Action Game Maker tutorials. So we're going to get back into that today, and what we're not going to do is go with a big deep mechanic, because I don't want to have a ton of time to make that happen. So while I've only got a short time today, I decided I'd show you guys one of the shortest and quickest things to add, and something that people really struggle with. So it's a moving platform, and moving platforms are a pain in the butt to do with Action Game Maker's visual script and collision system. So what Gotcha Games did was they added a GG script template. So I'm going to show you guys how to add one. Just go add and you say I want a new game object, and then in here you'll have empty object. Go for GD script sample and you'll see simple moving platform. So let's just call this SMP, simple moving platform, and create. You can call this whatever you want. And so what you'll see here is you've got your object, and this time it's got a GD script instead of your normal Action Game Maker visual scripts. Other than that, it's got a colored rectangle. This is just so you can see it in the level, and it's got a collision shape. So pretty simple stuff, right? Let me zoom in here a bit. If I turn this off, you see this yellow, and this is our collision box. So back here in the script, you'll see that there's a distance variable, there's a speed variable, and there's a wait time variable. So these are pretty obvious. This is the distance is how far it moves. The speed is how fast it moves. The wait time is how long it waits in seconds. So this is like 0.5 seconds. Then you've got these directions: down, up, left, right, and you set your direction here. So you can choose from either of these four and you just type it in here. So if I wanted this platform to go right, I would type right in here. Better match that case. Hello. Like so. And down here, the stuff you don't really need to know about. But what you can do is, if you want diagonals, right, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 directions right here, right, and created here, down here in the scene. So what you can do is you can add like down left, up left, and so on in here, and just get that. So I'll show you a quick example. Let me just grab this guy, just put him down here, and let's paste, and that was silly of me. Okay, so let's call this down left. So what you'll be doing here is, how do I go left? Well, I go -1 on the X. So we change the 0 to -1, and this one will be 1, which is down. So this is your X coordinate, and this is your Y coordinate. X coordinates are horizontal on the screen. You'd have seen this with your normal work. So from 0 to whatever. So if we want this to move right, we would set this to 1. We want it to move left, we set this to -1. We don't want it to move, we set this to 0. And the same up and down. Up is negative, so -1 will be up. 0 is not to move, and 1 is down. So pretty simple stuff. And you can then go up here, you can add down left into your enum right here. Let's do that. And let's set our direction to down left and see what happens. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the scene, because we've never done that, as SMP. Boom. And it'll save our script, and now it'll move down left. So if I jump in here to my level, boom, 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 I grab my SMP, and let's put him in here. Boom. There he goes, down left, right? Bit glitchy. I'm not sure what happened there. I think it hit the player. So for some reason when it hits the player, it's not ideal. Or maybe it's when it collides with a tile. I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's not supposed to happen like that. But you can work around that. But this is, again, Action Game Maker problems, but that's basically how it works. So if we go out and I go into my script again, let's go here, and I put it back to, let's say we just want it to go up. And let's say we want the distance to be, let's make it a multiple of 16, because we're using 16 by 16 tiles. So we'll say 90, right? Which is 5 tiles. 5 16s, that's 80 actually. 96, 6 tiles. So, and let's say we want it to move a little bit faster. We can take this, maybe set it to 75, and let's set the wait time to 1.5. Then we go scene, save scene, and we'll test play. You can see up he goes. Down he goes. Now you'll notice that we have this problem where our actor just does not want to switch back to his default idle stance. So let's take a look and see, can we figure out what's going on there. I might create a new group actually. I don't know if you guys know how to create groups, but you can create groups in Action Game Maker by going over here to Node and clicking on Group. And in here, you can add a group if I'm not mistaken. Boom, 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 boom. Let's call it Platform. Oh, that's a scene group. We want that to be a global group, right? My bad. Let me convert to global group. There we are. Okay, so we take our platform and we set it to platform. So that's pretty simple. Back in our player script, what we're going to do is we're going to check from a bunch of different player conditions. So the first thing is pretty much everything that goes to idle, right? So let's go in here and look at our jump. Okay, so from jump we have land. We look at this. Land keeps our animation and switches to our idle animation, should I say. So in here what we're going to say is going into this from jump fall to land, contact with tile, right? And we've got contact with wall area. So let's see what this is. Our contact with wall area bottom. So we can choose our object in here, but we can also choose object group. So we pick group and we're going to pick platform. So what should happen now is if we're contacting with a tile, or if we're contacting with the wall area of anything in the platform group, we should switch to our idle. So let's see, does that work? And it worked for a second. And so what's happening there is once we land, we're switching into our correct frame and we're using our correct motion. So this condition is now working. What's happening is once we're on it and we're in idle, you'll remember that from idle we go to our ledge fall and our coyote time if we're not contacting with a tile or the wall area here. So what we do here is again we check wall area, and what we're going to check again is group, sorry, not an individual object. So we're going to say object group, and instead of all groups we're going to say platform. I'm going to click OK and make sure this is not equal to is set. So basically the checks we're running here is if we're not touching a tile below us and we're not touching a object group platform, then we can go into our coyote time and our fall. But if we are, we stay in what we're in. So now let's check this out. Oh, and it's still happening. So why is it still happening? I do not have an idea. Let's keep looking. Oh, it's because I moved, right? So from run, we want to do the same thing. I'm sorry if this video is a little bit messy. I'm really stuck for time, so you guys kind of seeing how I do this stuff in real time, as opposed to you know, how it is otherwise. So we can jump and there we go. Now we're fine on our platform. Now, if you want to, you can change these like we showed. I didn't actually show that, did I? I'll show that real quick. So if I don't want this rectangle, I can just turn this off, and what I can do is add child node of sprite 2D. Let me just grab sprite 2D. Boom. And then in the sprite 2D, we can choose our graphic like we do normally. So let's go here. And let's pick any graphic we have. We've got this icon.svg here. Let's make that the texture. Boom. Then let's line it up with our collision. I'm not going to spend too long on this, but so something like that. Then let's delete this colored rectangle. Let's save. And then if we test, what will happen is now this guy is our, I didn't get my collision spot on, so we're a little bit above, but you see the idea. And you can do cool stuff. You can even probably attach a tile set in here. Like if I was to go add child node, let's just see. Add a tile map layer. Boom. And in here again, you can set your tile set. Let me load any tile set I've got already. Boom. I'm right here, and then in here we can draw. Right. So let's get rid of our sprite 2D. And let's see what happens if we start drawing, right? Let's grab this. Let's just grab this brown guy for now. And let's say we want to go. Let's pull this down so it's over it. Let's stretch him out. And we might even be able to put collision on the tiles themselves, I'm not sure. But I'm just going to do it this way. And if we test this out now. There we go, we've got some floating terrain. And that's just by using a simple tile map. It's probably not the most resource efficient, but it does work. I might start doing a few like shorter videos on basic engine mechanics if you guys want that as well. So ones that I can record in like 15-20 minutes and get them uploaded for you. So yeah, till next time, peace.